org, and also go to supertalktv.com. You'll see I'm not alone, and if you are a soccer fan, today's Good Things is all for you, because we have in the studio Mississippi Brilla FC, which is Brilla, I'm gonna get it right, minor league soccer franchise that competes in the Mid-South Division of the Southern Conference of USL League 2. We're going to unpack all of that with their new head coach, Matt Horth, and Rusty Bryant, general manager. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
I nailed your name, but I messed up the the team's name. I told you I'm going to get it, but I'm sure you've heard it.
Every way that you can possibly pronounce it, we have heard it.
The good news is, though, Mississippi has a minor league soccer franchise that is doing good things, and it's growing the sport in our state and catching wind with all the other growth that's happening around the sport around the country. And I told Rhino if I knew how to push the buttons, I would have changed seats with him today, because I feel like he should be leading this ship, as much of a soccer fan as he is.
That's right.
But I told him, chime in at any time. Do not be shy from the booth today, because I know he represents so many Mississippians who are big soccer fans. So let's get started. Give us the background, though, Rusty, of your organization, because I feel like it in and of itself is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. So we've actually been around for a long time. So way back in 1996, I was a senior at Mississippi College, had a chance to go on a choir trip, actually, a choir tour. It was a mission trip to Costa Rica. And while we were there, we got thrown into a soccer tournament, which was quite comical, big, long story in itself. But it just so happened that God kind of orchestrated things. And the last game that we played, we were winning, which was very surprising. And the last game that we played, there was another gentleman on the field playing against us that was from the International Mission Board, and he was a chaplain for this team. And so he came up to me after the game and said, look at all these people that are here watching you guys. How great would it be if you brought a real soccer team back down here and used soccer to share the gospel with people? And so my two passions were Jesus and also soccer. So I thought, what a great combination. So within 3 months, we were back with our very first team, Brilla. That's the way it's pronounced, and that was also the reason why we came up with that name, was to have a Spanish word. So it's the Spanish word for shine. And we came up with that word so that it would be something that would identify with the people of Costa Rica. We took it from Matthew 5:16, let your light shine before men. And yeah, so we were back down there, had a great week of ministry and sharing the gospel, drawing crowds and building relationships through soccer, and kind of thought that would be the end of it, pat ourselves on the back doing the good work, and, God had other plans. So we continued taking mission trips. We continued doing some soccer camps for kids. And a couple of years later, had a chance to go full-time, and we started Brilla Soccer Ministries, and then it just snowballed from there. So here we are.
How long has the minor league franchise been here in Mississippi?
So we got the franchise in 2006. 2007 was our first year of competition. So this will actually be our 15th year on the field, because we had the one COVID year that didn't happen.
So what encouraged you, though, Rusty, to say, I understand the ministry's part, taking it over there, the love of soccer, which internationally I would say soccer's got a little bit more umph than it does here, although it's definitely growing,
right, that
Mississippi needed its own sort of mark in the competitive soccer arena.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. We kind of shifted after doing things the way we had been doing them for about 10 years. And really, it was almost a shift of, instead of going to the world, we wanted to bring the world to us. And, it was just one of those things that we just felt prompted to do. And we thought that if we could get people, literally players from all over the world, to come here and spend 3 months with us, then we could make an eternal impact on them and then send them back out into the world. So that's really the reason on the ministry side. And then really just because we just wanted to make a big impact on the sport of soccer. I mean, I grew up here. I've lived here my entire life. Back when you couldn't find a soccer game on TV anywhere, and now you can find it just about any game you want to watch, you can find it. And so we just wanted to be a part of helping Mississippi be on the soccer map, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun trying to jump in in and do that here in Mississippi.
All right, Coach Matt, you are now the new head coach for Brilla here in Mississippi. I even saw where you have 9 countries represented on your roster.
That's correct.
And I don't even know if your roster's completed. I did my homework. And you got your first match or game or however y'all say it coming up this weekend, which makes me nervous sort of for you. But when did you first hear of Brilla?
Yeah, great question. So speaking about that legacy that Rusty talked about, back in 2007, 2008, as a kid up in New England, I had known and heard of Brilla because its reputation preceded itself as a great club of what it stood for and some of the players that they helped proceed to the professional ranks. So to get the call from Rusty, and that's a story in itself, where from 36 hours start to finish, I got the first phone call and signed papers, figuratively. Knew that this was what I wanted to do. My wife Jessica and kids were on board, and we said, this is a great opportunity. Let's do it. It's going to be a ton of fun. And for me, my background is in professional soccer, so college is great. I love that. That's kind of my vocational calling in life. But to work now for a very brief time with players who share that dream of becoming aspiring professionals and leading that next wave into the professional ranks is something that I was really keen on.
So this is interesting to me. I'm learning all about soccer today, and I hope you are too here on Good Things, is that the season's only 3 months.
That's correct.
So you will be visiting Mississippi. You'll call it home for 3 months, but then we never really let you leave. So you're basically, you're like a third cousin now forever once you're here for that long. But your players, they come in just for the season. So I'm trying to think of like other sports where it feels like the whole year is their vocation if they're going into the minor leagues or even a professional realm. So are your players practicing, obviously, and keeping up their skills and all in their home countries or in their home states, and then just coming to Mississippi for the 3 months for the season? Is that how it works?
Potentially. And the great thing is everybody's different. We've recruited good players, period. Some of those come from high school. Some of those are ex-professionals. Some of those maybe haven't been to a college campus in 3 years. And because of that different flavor, you get a lot of different experiences and different soccer backgrounds. So for us, the easiest and the most common in this setting is for college players because they have the summer off. Some of them get internships, jobs. Some of them want to continue playing to prepare for the fall season. So that's kind of our sweet spot, if you will. But the beauty of League Two in USL is that it attracts a very broad range of quality players. So we get the luxury then of finding exactly who we want as a person, who we want as a player, what fits our playing style, and then trying to bring them here to Mississippi.
Rusty, let's talk about that league because it's USL League 2, which is what Brilla is a part of. In the big grand scheme of things, what does that mean? Yeah,
so the USL is actually, it has a pyramid sort of professional soccer. And, of course, Major League Soccer is the highest level in America. And then right underneath that starts the USL pyramid. So there's actually USL Championship, which is just under MLS. Then there's USL League 1, and then USL League 2. So it's sort of like if you can, for a lot of people that know minor league baseball, there's obviously the Major League Baseball, and then there's AAA, AA, Single A. And so it almost, that's the easiest way to sort of make the correlation between the two.
And so you potentially will have players that climb up the pyramid, if that's the way, or go up the pyramid into. Have we had anybody from Mississippi's team make it to professional?
Yes. So crazy enough, right now we actually have 29 players currently playing professionally. So, and then that doesn't even, we've been doing this for 15 years, so it doesn't even count all the ones that have played and then even have retired already. So, but yeah, 29 currently playing. And that's a big draw for some of these players because they know that we will prepare them to play professionally, and then we have the connections and the ability to be able to push them on. So it's a big draw for us for sure.
And that's all happening right here in Mississippi, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, Coach, normally you have a team and you get to, especially if I'm thinking in college, you're thinking over like 4 years or so, or even before then, to sort of get to know your players and figure out their chemistry and everything else. And you're kind of thrusted into this. Is that like part of the chaos and the fun, or are you as anxious as I am for you?
That's exactly how I would describe it. Chaos and fun and excitement all thrown in together. You look at that. That's a good analogy. 4 years of a college season kind of compressed into a summer of getting to know this team and finding out who fits best where, what are our players' strengths and qualities, and trying to put the best product forward to go and win a match. We've had less than a week so far to date to prepare, and we've got a game in 3 days. So We're going to do our best. As a coach, there's a certain point where in any sport, you really don't know your team until maybe a couple weeks into a season. And here, with the compressedness, we just don't have that time. We got to go now, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a
We've got more time here on Good Things with the guys with Mississippi Bria coming up next. Weather Channel. And if all that fails, go to supertalk.fm/connect to find out more. And we are continuing our conversation with Mississippi Bria. It's a minor league soccer franchise here that competes in the Mid-South Division and the Southern Conference of the USL League Two. We're getting a lowdown on all things soccer in Mississippi with head coach Matt and general manager Rusty. And we were talking about some pivotal moments of when soccer's growth really started to excel here in America specifically, which trickles down to Mississippi. Every sport has their moments. I remember, particularly as my kids are into swimming, that when Michael Phelps became Michael Phelps, although he was not an overnight sensation, but he had that great Summer Olympics, that you saw the interest in swimming for younger individuals skyrocket. And I think back to, we settled on 99 when, what was her name?
Brandy Chastain.
Yes, the infamous, right? In on her knees, and then she has a sports bra on and the world goes crazy.
Yep.
But it's the wins like that get all the attention that then get kids to say, oh, I want to do that when I grow up, or I want to get into that. And then you start to see it sort of trickle down and grow. So, Coach Matt, I know soccer has to be in your childhood. When and where did you get inspired to get into the sport of soccer?
Who knows? A young age, but it was my dad who wanted me probably to be active and get out of the house, and we picked up soccer on a Sunday morning church league. No goals, cones, and 3v3, and it was just kind of that bumblebee blob of kids running around the ball. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a ton of fun. For a kid, that's really all you need. And then as I progressed through, it kind of became more of just a love. It was something I was truly passionate about, and I wanted not only to succeed, but I wanted to grow, and I wanted to challenge myself. And you look at some of the ways that it's impacted my life and how I've grown and playing professionally, going overseas and playing professionally, and now leading to the coaching ranks. And it's a game that has enriched my life, and it's been a gift.
All right, Rusty. When did you fall in love with the game of soccer?
Wow, it has just always been a part. And I remember growing up playing over in Clinton. I mean, probably some of the first soccer that was ever even played over there as a 3- and 4-year-old, way back in the 70s. I'm old, but the game grew, and I just continued to love it, and played a little in college. But then the most fun I've had, obviously with Mississippi Bria, but then now my children. I've got 2 boys. They both play soccer. I've got one actually plays for Bria, and he plays college soccer too, and the other one's in high school playing, and it's just fun. It's been a great journey.
Rhino, we've always followed your love of soccer here on Good Things. I get excited about whatever excites you. It's always been soccer. But I don't know if I've ever asked you, when did you fall in love with soccer?
I'm a lot like Coach Matt. I don't remember the exact age. It might have been 3 or 4 or 5, but it was that bumblebee ball. Mm-hmm. It was rec league, and I remember just standing on the field and watching this group of people coming towards me, and then out squirts the ball, and when it's at your feet, there's just this moment that clicks, and you're like, oh, I like this. This is a lot of fun.
True story. Soccer's the only sport I didn't make in high school that I tried out for. They were like, why don't you stick to track and cheerleading? You're much better at those skills. But it is definitely a skill. But I did not have the introduction to it at a young age to learn all the footwork and all the things that do it. I think I treated it like football, and you can't do that. And anyway, downward spiral. So it's not for everybody. It definitely takes a level of athleticism and eye-foot coordination to make the game work. Matt, do you feel like that's why young kids, when they're given to it or they're taken to it young, can excel so quickly? I feel like they excel really fast in soccer compared to other sports.
Yeah, and in many ways you kind of touch on a sociological trend in that kids learn these days just by going out and doing. In many ways you look at youth sports and it's so structured, it's so organized. We've got the T-ball league, and we got to hire the umpires, and we got to make sure we've got a second and third and fourth and fifth base coach. I know there's not one, but you get this point where when we were kids, most likely we went out on the cul-de-sac and we just played. And that was it. And you pick up a game and you realize, hey, it's pretty easy to kick a ball, and let's keep doing it. And you repeat and you repeat, and you see those patterns, and you do the same motions over and over, and you form the muscle memories or whatnot. And while you're doing it, you have fun. And that's what kids need, just to have fun.
That's probably why internationally soccer or football, whatever they want to call it, picks up quicker, because all you need is a group of kids and a ball. Like, you don't need a fancy field or whatever. So when Brilla got started as a missions, or it still has its missions, over in Costa Rica, I mean, is that what you found, that kids just wanted to be able to run around and have something to do?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, it's kind of one of those things that it breaks down all the barriers, because, it doesn't matter how much money you have or where you're from. It's just, you just need a ball. And in fact, most of the places we would go, they don't even need shoes or cleats. They just played. And, that even translates over here with our urban camps that we do in the summer, because we go and we do 10, this summer we have 10 camps that we're doing with partners in the inner city of Jackson. And we'll go in, and a lot of these kids have never played before, but then they just are like, hey, all we need is a ball, and we can just get out here and run around and have fun. It's pretty amazing to see, and to see just the smiles, and there's not the pressure of, being, having all the right equipment and being the best at something. It's just like, we can just laugh and have a good time playing this game.
But it is also, you have opportunities to go up from you guys' league to then up to the professional level, or I guess the highest up as it'll go. And that means that you're recruiting players. So it's also a competition, so you're looking for it. And I'm thinking, again, Coach Matt, I just have so much anxiety for you.
Thank you, I think.
And when I think of recruiting, right, I mean, and you think about coming up next, you have Sports Talk, and they always talk about recruiting, and it's usually just around in the United States at different colleges for, baseball, football, whatever it may be. And I see 9 different countries are represented for Mississippi Brilla. Are you traveling to all 9 countries? I mean, and I'm thinking of a roster that big to even choose from. So the recruiting to get them here, how does that work? Lots of sticky notes in different time zones.
Yeah, if we're traveling, then I think I need some Hawaii players,
man.
And maybe we can go somewhere. No, it's
my bad.
it is a challenge, and it's understanding. Utilizing your recruiting networks, naturally, that I've formed through the college ranks, using connections that Brilla has made in the past through Rusty and some of his legacy here at Brilla, and knowing the right people, but also understanding, especially since COVID, everything's moved to online. Everybody's got game film. Everyone's got highlight film. And in lieu of being able to fly around and see these players, hey, can you send me 2 games? And most guys will send you their best 2 games, even though you ask for, hey, give me a best game or a medium game or your worst game. But through multiple evaluation points, you get a sense of who a player is, what he can actually do, and some of the things that he needs to work on. And if it all checks out and he's a good person, you want to work with him, then you realize, okay, I can take a calculated risk on saying, I've never seen you play in person, but what I have seen, we can work with that.
How many's on your roster, or when it's completed?
26.
How many do you have left before Saturday's game?
We just had our last player fly in last night, so we are set.
That's exciting to get them all here, right,
That's
Rusty?
right.
That's right. We're ready. This might be the first time, maybe in 15 years, that the whole roster was here by the first game.
Yeah. Wow.
My anxiety.
You're making me nervous. I don't know that I'm supposed to be this nervous, and now I am.
This is just the way it is. I think this is interesting to hear and learn sort of the back of it. And two, the fact that Clinton, Mississippi hosts these individuals from 9 different countries, and of course just around the United States. So where are they? Okay, maybe don't give me an address. But I mean, what is the relationship with somebody in Clinton to be able to house these players and give them the good old Mississippi hospitality?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of just the ministry and the partners that we have and the people that believe in us. So they're at Mississippi College. They stay in the apartments there at Mississippi College. It's a great setup. They're all together, so really getting to build that team chemistry and just having fun, hanging out together. They work out at the Healthplex there, right across the street from the apartments. Again, it's relationships. Playing at Clinton High School, like this Saturday's game is Clinton Public School night, so we've got lots of kids being recognized for stuff. But it's just, we're in the community. The kids are in the community. The players are all in the community and building it all up for the summer. And so there's just these incredible partnerships. This
would be a stat question. I don't know who to ask it, but could you or know if the kids, does Clinton turn out better soccer players than other communities in Mississippi having Brilla in the community?
Man, this is dangerous, right, Rhino? I'm not sure I should go here.
But it would go back to what I was saying is that you have different things that influence kids' interest.
Absolutely.
And so you would feel like...
Well, the Clinton High School boys team just won the state championship.
That's just facts, not feelings.
Right. The Clinton High School girls team lost in the state championship. So we could just leave it right there.
I've said, just tell me the facts, right? But I think that's really cool when a community rallies around something that it influences the kids, and it's obviously having a positive impact. And we've got more with Mississippi Brilla. We've got some questions coming in on the C Spire text line, so we'll get to that and more coming up next. Elections. We're getting closer to, I guess, kickoff. Is that what you guys say? To Mississippi Brilla's first game of the season, which is coming up this Saturday. They are a minor league soccer franchise here in Mississippi. The only one, right? The only minor league. How many minor leagues are there? I feel, is there one in every state, or do we have a monopoly over a few states being the only one?
It's kind of, once you get down into the level where we are, there's just different leagues. And there are some other leagues that I guess technically are on the same level than us, and we have a few of those teams even around the state. But we're the only one in the USL, which actually has that pyramid like that. So.
Okay, Coach Mike. Let's do it. See, I almost made it, Matt.
That's right.
Saturday is your first game. How many home games are there in the season?
I think we've got about 7 or 8.
7 or 8. So how many games total?
14.
14. So y'all will be on the road to where?
Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas.
So really the 3 months that you're here in Mississippi, you're not here in Mississippi.
Pretty much.
I thought you were going to get our Mississippi summer, but it sounds like you will be ducking and dodging it around into other states. So how can folks, though, like keep up with the scheduling of it? And if they've never come out and seen a game, what sets it apart from their kids' soccer match or something they think they've seen?
Yeah, one of the things that we do, we understand that there are soccer fans, and there's pure soccer fans that will come just to watch this level of soccer. That's right. And it genuinely is. It's one of those things where if you came and watched for the first time, you would be pretty shocked and blown away at the level. It is like watching a professional game, but not on TV. It's up close and personal. So there are those that come and watch for the soccer. We also know that there's just people looking for something to do, something to have a good time with their family. So we also try to make it a family event where there's stuff going on, concessions and food trucks and, inflatable soccer goal for kids to kick on, and there's stuff going on at halftime and contests. And we have a supporters group, the Blue Battalion, and they come out and they make a lot of noise and yell at the referees and bang on drums, and it's just fun. It's just a great opportunity to go out and do something fun with your family.
Now, Rhino, that's like your Mississippi Outlaws. So is that just considered like a band of fans?
It's a supporters group. You usually have not necessarily a uniform. The team wears the uniform, but you wear the colors of the team. You wear the scarves. You get out there. You might paint your face. You got the drums. You got a trump. You got anything to make noise and
you're the
to
heart
annoy
and spirit.
the rest. Oh yeah.
So you're the super fan. You start the chants. You're kind of like the whole kind of ninth, and you're like, or you're the groupies, right?
That's it. That's it.
Rhino, you grew up to be a groupie. No, but I love that it feels like it's part of the community of soccer, and also what all sports have, but yet they do it a little bit differently. So I think if you're a fan of competition of any sport, then you can find something to enjoy about soccer at this level. I mean, it's going to be exciting. You don't have to necessarily want to follow it online or become a diehard fan with it, or get season tickets. But I mean, you can at least come and support a game and see something cool here in Mississippi. Okay, Rusty, Coach Matt said in 36 hours he had the job or was secured for the job. How did that happen? Where did you find Coach Matt?
Yeah, so our former coach that had been here for the last 3 years, he actually got an opportunity to move up the pyramid. So just like with players, we are big on pushing. I mean, even our interns. We've had interns that have gone on to be on staff with Major League Soccer teams. So it's not just the players. Front office and different people, coaches get a chance to move on. And he did. He was able to go to New Mexico United, which is the USL Championship championship. So it's just below MLS, and he's an assistant coach there and also running their academy. And so we were left to find a coach, which is not the first time. We've been doing this for 15 years, so we've had a few coaches. But we were talking with someone, had a pretty long relationship over a couple of months with a potential coach, and at the last minute he got the U15 national team, U.S. national team job, which is a great opportunity, but left us out there hanging. And he actually called me the very next day and said, I feel so bad. He's like, but I've got a guy. And so he put me in touch with Matt, and we talked for about 2 hours that first day. And seriously, within 36 hours, this is a done deal. And I'm not kidding. I tell this to people around the community, and I say, Coach Matt, he honestly, he has the potential to be the best coach we've ever had, and we have had some fantastic soccer coaches come through here.
Now
pressure.
that should make you nervous right there for us. Yeah,
See, actually, that doesn't. But knowing that how you have to recruit and all the things, that's the part that gets me for you. But I'm sure they know what they're looking for, and obviously you saw something in Mississippi that you wanted to be a part of. But this, I mean, I can feel the passion in both of you for the sport of soccer and growing it, as an overall sort of sport. But this is like a family affair for you, Matt. I mean, your wife, 2 small children, moved this way. How are they adjusting to Mississippi?
Our kids love it. They wouldn't know a difference, if it painted it right in front of the faces. They absolutely love it. It's a little hot, and we're getting used to that. We're little softies up in Boston in terms of the heat and the weather, but it's been a change for the better in terms of just we needed something different, and we needed a new experience, and to see everything that Mississippi has to offer, and specifically Clinton, just the atmosphere and the friendliness in the town, the nature of people that have introduced themselves at the supermarket, that have just said, hey, anything you need, we're here to help. It's something new and something that we've really grown accustomed to very, very quickly. It's been great.
Well, you'll find that all over the state. So
That's
I don't
right.
know if you guys will travel much across the state of Mississippi in terms to play, but we always root for our home team. And I think that's what we were hoping to do here today on Good Things, is introduce you to the fact that there is Mississippi Brilla right here in our own backyards. And even though it's in Clinton and they kind of call it home, all this good stuff. I even saw where Ridgeland Tourism, Rusty, was one of your sponsors.
Yep.
When you stop to think about all the economic impact that you guys have on, on our community
Right.
here in the metro. Talk to that. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of traveling in, visiting from other teams when you host a game? That kind of stuff?
That's great, because we have to have a home base. Every team has a home base, and obviously we call Clinton our home base just because that's where we've always been, and that's where we play our home games. But that doesn't mean that we're not the team for the entire state of Mississippi, and that's what we want to be. And so it's really incredible to see groups and organizations that come along beside us and just want to help, want to be sponsors. You mentioned Ridgeland Tourism, which has been a fantastic relationship. The visiting teams actually stay in Ridgeland because of that. So we have our hotel deal with a hotel in Ridgeland. Tomorrow night, Chick-fil-A, it's actually the Chick-fil-A Brandon and Dogwood that are coming together to feed our team. So we'll be out at the reservoir with them tomorrow. They do that every year for us. So it really is. We keep saying Clinton, but it's not a Clinton team. This is Mississippi's team, and we're just based in Clinton, and that's just where we call home.
That's where you call home. Joe in Meridian says, what are the team's colors?
Oh, we are sky blue, and when we picked that sky blue, it was because we wanted to be different. We didn't want to just be your regular old red or navy, or we wanted something that really nobody else, and I just love how it pops. It's just a different color. It's great.
Does soccer have mascots?
We actually have had a couple of mascots through the years. So we had the Blue Man a few years ago, and it was this dude that would come dressed up in a skin-tight blue outfit.
Rhino, that's for you.
Yes, Rhino, come on. But we've actually we have a big old soccer ball now that comes out from time to time, and but we're just Brilla. So, but we do have some fun with kids like that. So.
Oh, absolutely. Jeff in Oxford says, look at us making a soccer fan out of Rebecca. Hey, I'm an easy bandwagoner. Right? I will always say I will be for the home team. I love when other people get excited about something. I want to get excited about it too.
Well, I'm going to be looking for you in the stands on Saturday.
Right.
Well, we'll be in Starkville for the state and the Tennessee baseball game. But yes, I mean, I'm hearing that there's 7 to 8 home games. I'd love to come out with Rhino and sort of catch one. But I think that's what it takes. Mississippi is hospitality, and I think even you don't necessarily have to love soccer to at least support what's going on here, because going back to the very beginning, this is a missions. I mean, this has a bigger dream and vision to it. How do y'all keep the missions alive with the everyday sort of player part?
No, that's a great question. We bring these players that come in, they know that they're coming to be a part of a ministry. Some of them, it may be their first experience with anything like this, but that's part of why they're searching. And so we have a lot of players that come in, and they're coming specifically because they want to be a part of these urban camps and impacting lives and being a part of that. So, and then also just impacting other players on the team that are coming from all over the world. So it's just a great opportunity. 3 months of a captive audience. I mean, can't really beat that, right?
You can't beat that. And we will wrap up good things with Mississippi Bria coming up next. What is that, Rhino? Great hype music.
Hiya, hiya, or Better Together. It's the official theme, or at least the first theme, of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar.
Which is coming up fast, and the American soccer made it.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Group B.
Group B made it to that, which you were excited about, because I know one of the matches will be on Thanksgiving. And the only reason why I know that is because Rhino doesn't have to take that day off of work to watch it. He's already forecasting when he'll need to be away from work, which I think is awesome, because it only happens. How many years does it come around? Every 4 years? So it's like the Olympics of soccer, and to get excited about. And it's coming back to America when?
2026.
2026.
So 4 years from now.
So 4 years from now, and it will be where?
The host cities haven't been finalized, but there is a possibility that either one place in Texas or maybe even in Atlanta would be probably the closest place we could go catch a match.
Okay, Rusty, what is this in the inside soccer world? How exciting, even though it's like 4 years out, are folks already like hyped about it?
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I mean, the biggest thing is just getting the U.S. back into the World Cup for this year, and have a young team that's a little bit more dynamic than we've had in the past, a little bit more creative, should be a lot of fun. And so, I mean, I think those of us that are real soccer fans, we're just excited about this coming up World Cup. And then once that ends, we'll start focusing on 4 years from now and bringing it right here to America.
And you never know, Mississippi Bria player maybe not be at the World Cup, but could be in the process of sort of getting there. I don't know how quickly you go from the bottom of the pyramid to the top, but it's sports. Anything can happen. And Coach Matt, I'm still thinking about you and all your players and everything that makes me nervous. But one thing I do think is neat, you are a college coach. And then what's the age range? You mentioned some of them are college age, but do you find the mentality of your Bria players are different than your college players? Is there a higher level of maturity with the players in the Bria level?
It depends on the player, to be honest. I think you're all dealing with 18 to 22-year-old young men, sometimes plus or minus. Some of them are more mature than others. Some of them are just more fun to be around, and they're jokesters and some good bit of banter, but they're good people.
Because I feel like when it shifts from being a college sport, and that's in any sport, to being a slightly professional, the mindset shifts, and then and then that can sort of do it that way. I did see, Rusty, do y'all have an adult league of soccer?
There is an adult league going on. They actually have shifted it so that it can coincide with our home games this summer. So Clinton Soccer Association is doing an adult league, and they're going to play their games at 5 o'clock on the nights that we have home games through the summer, so that then they can just come straight on over, tailgate with the Blue Battalion, have a little bit of food, and then come on into the game.
I think that's fun. There needs to be more opportunities for adults to still play in leagues that of the sports that they enjoyed. Because just because we're old doesn't mean we don't still have a competitive bone in our body. We may break them, but we still want to get out there and have fun. And that also feeds into just the growth of soccer and the excitement around it. I saw where we're even getting specific stadiums in our country for soccer. How big is that?
Oh, I mean, when I was growing up, it was funny. You could remember kind of those first ones that were like, oh, they're building a real soccer stadium, and now they're everywhere. And it's not only the highest level. I mean, down into the USL Championship, USL League One. I mean, a lot of those teams are in the process or already have their own soccer-specific stadium, and they rival some of the top ones in the world. I mean,
what makes a soccer
time.
Stadium different than another stadium?
You want to answer that, Matt? I don't.
The most common answer would probably be the stands are really close to the sidelines and end lines, whereas sometimes, football stadiums are a little bit bigger for natural reasons, but you get that atmosphere of almost being able to reach out and touch the player who's throwing it. Not actually, but there's a tight-knit, I guess the best word is an intimacy of the environment there in the atmosphere.
When you see games that are international and they're in the big stadiums, you do feel like they're louder. Like, I mean, like everybody's sort of like right there and the chanting and doing all the things, which I think is really exciting and fun to be a part of. Well, I'm excited for you guys this season. Where can we go to get everything we need to know about Mississippi Brilla?
All right, our website, brillasoccer.org, BRILLA, soccer.org. So our schedule's on there. You can go online and you can get season passes. You can pre-purchase tickets for the game on Saturday because they're cheaper if you pre-purchase. And then you can also walk up and buy tickets at the gate. But Saturday is our first match, 7 o'clock at Clinton High School. We play the team from Little Rock, Arkansas. Who's a very good team, so it should be a really good game, good test for us. But also online, you'll find on our website all the information about our camps, all of our urban camps in the summer, anything Brilla. You can find it all of our social media. We have a great social media director, and constantly putting stuff out. So a lot of fun. You can keep up with us all summer long.
Well, welcome to Mississippi, Matt.
Thank you.
Good luck. Can I say break a leg? That's terrible. Right?
Yeah, let's not.
Let's not do that. Just good luck, and we'll be keeping up with it and let everybody know how your season is going. But you guys stick with us. We got more for you up next.